Hey, I'm Connor Nielsen of CS Reviews, and you know what I really love? A good movie. And here's 50 of them. This is my top 50 personal favorite movies. This is by no means a greatest list. If it was a greatest list, this list would be entirely different. But I've seen enough classics, enough. There's still many more I need to see. But I feel I've seen enough to comprise my top 50 favorite movies list. So let's dive on in, from number 50 to number 41. Let's go. Alright, coming at number 50 is Chariots of Fire, the 1981 Oscar winner for Best Picture. A lot of people are angry at this movie for beating Raiders of the Lost Ark for Best Picture, but come on, let's face it. Chariots of Fire is a better movie all around than Raiders of the Lost Ark. Although Raiders of the Lost Ark might be more entertaining and might be more action-filled and more, well, what people like. People are entertained and pleased more by Raiders than they are of Chariots of Fire. But Chariots of Fire is a better movie. It has a better story. Well, people could argue that. It has better acting, definitely, better writing, definitely, and it's just a better movie. And the direction and musical score are fantastic. The musical score has been used so many times, but it's really only satisfying when you watch it in this. Usually the score has been used in, comedically. You know, like in Madagascar, they use it in a comedic fashion. But in this, it just blends very well with, it's, the way the music goes with the movie is great. It's about two runners, two English runners who have never raced each other, and they're both really good. One of them is a new up-and-comer. One of them has kind of been out of it for a while. Okay, I know it sounds a little cliche, but it comes off in such a natural and very original way, and I really liked it a lot. The acting is magnificent, and what more can I say? I was on track when I first saw this movie, and it made me want to get up and run 80 miles. It was really inspirational and a really good movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. Moving on to number 49. Alright, number 49 we have Monsters Incorporated. My second favorite Pixar movie. What can I say about Monsters Incorporated? I absolutely adore it. I love the whole idea that monsters use doors to go in and scare children and then use their scream to power their city, and it's a really great concept. And I really like the voice acting by John Goodman and Billy Crystal. I think it's really funny, and I also think that the it's very sincere, and I think it's a great example of Pixar. I think that the short Mike's New Car that was tagged along with it was really funny as well. And I thought that Randall was an awesome villain. When I was a kid, it was, before Heath Ledger's Joker, it was Randall. Everybody loved Randall. If you were, like, I was 6 years old when this came out, and when I saw that, I wanted to be Randall. He could turn invisible, he could blend into everything, he was awesome. And Steve Buscemi, great voice acting for him. It was awesome. Oh my gosh. Every time I watch it, I feel like a kid again, you know. Just watching it and just remembering what it's like. I had that sense of awe that when I first watched it, it was just so cool. And I always wanted to jump inside the closet and then go into this whole monster world. But obviously it didn't really happen. But, oh, it was... Yeah, it's a great movie. Everyone's seen this movie. Everyone has. The animation's also really good too. And the opening scene is pretty great. If you haven't checked it out, what are you doing? It's a Pixar movie. Of course you've seen it. But watch it if you haven't seen it in quite a while. I hadn't seen it in quite a while until I watched it in all things Spanish class. Yeah, I had to watch it with like, "Hola, Mikey." The John Goodman thing made me laugh. It was pretty funny. But I mean, even though it was in Spanish, I saw the movie so many times as a kid. I already knew what they were gonna say, and it was. Yeah, that's my number 49 favorite movie. So let's go on to number 48. Okay, number 48 is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And it's a pretty excellent movie. This is definitely the definition of why this is a favorite movie list. Not a greatest movie list. Because if this was a greatest, this wouldn't even be close to number 50. But because it's the favorite list, it's definitely on here. I love this movie. It's so funny. This is one of those very, very rare comedies where every time I watch it, it gets funnier. Why? Because every time I watch it, I know more about two things: global history and rock and roll music. And most of the comedy in this movie is about global history and rock and roll music. So every time I watch it, I get more of a kick because I understand more of the jokes. And I think that it's just a really, really funny movie. It's about these two idiots played by Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, named Bill and Ted. And they, pardon me, they are flunking history class. And then if they flunk, then I think it's Ted's dad is going to send him to a boot camp in Alaska. But then Rufus, played by George Carlin, comes from the future and says that if they flunk this, Ted's going to have to go to the Alaska, and then their band, Wild Stallions, will be broken up. And in the future, the whole society is based off of their band, which apparently is like this, a great, great, great music band, rock and roll, heavy metal band. But right now they really suck. They're just like, yeah. And I think all the jokes are very well written. I mean, there's a lot of visual jokes, but I like a lot of the written jokes as well. Like the part where they're talking about they need to have Eddie Van Halen if they want to, have a good show, because they videotape all their stuff. All their band rehearsals, so they're like, dude, we need Eddie Van Halen, but we can't have Eddie Van Halen if we don't have a good show. But we won't have a good show unless we have Eddie Van Halen, and it's just so funny the way it just keeps going in a circle. But it's a lot better than the way I just impersonated. But it's a really, really, really funny movie. So, oh yeah, and also in the plot, Rufus comes back and he gives them a telephone booth, which are really obsolete now. I think I've only seen one in forever. And they use that telephone booth as a time machine. They go to all these different corners of time to pick up these famous people like Abraham Lincoln, Joan of Arc, Socrates, Sigmund Freud. And then they pick them up, and it's just so funny the way they blend rock and roll humor, because I absolutely love rock and roll music and heavy metal music, and I just think it's a funny movie, especially for me, and all my friends, we always joke about this movie. But yeah, that's number 48. Okay, number 47 is Batman, the 1989 Batman movie starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, and Kim Basinger. This is a really, really cool movie. Ever since The Dark Knight came out, everyone's been kicking Jack Nicholson's Joker out of their top 10 favorite villains list, when in all actuality, it's just as good as Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, Jack Nicholson did a great job. He's my personal favorite actor, and I think he's just so crazy and just so innovative, and he based his role off of the comic books, and well, after reading the comic books, he did a really good job. Um, this is a really cool movie. It's the only Tim Burton movie on my list, but I know it's more uh, not. It's more set based and action based than it is story based, which is interesting because I usually just grind movies to the ground if they don't have much of a plot, because you don't got a plot, you don't really have a movie. But because it's based off of comic books and they really stick true to the comic books and they just really focus on them, that that's all they needed. I mean, they just needed to focus on that. I mean, really, what is every Batman comic book? Something happens, he's the world's greatest detective, so he has to solve the crime and then get down to it and then do it. So this one is really cool. They go into Batman's origin story, kind of. They explain the Joker's, one of his 4 origin stories. And is that right, Spence? Like 4 in the comics?
Technically 3.
Okay, 3 different. He has like 3 different origins in the comics, but they go into one of them, and it's just really cool to see just Gotham City come to life on the screen and see the Batmobile. It's probably the best Batmobile to date on screen. And it's just so sad to think that this what started off as a really great movie series turned into what became my most hated movie ever made. And it's really sad to think that. I mean, there are definitely lots and lots of flaws with this movie. For example, well, more not flaws with the movie, but a lot of things that I don't like about the movie. I mean, I don't love every single thing about this movie, but I do like enough of it to put it in my top 50 list. For example, Kim Basinger's shrieking almost drove me batty. Ba-doom-tsh. Anyways, but it's still a great movie, and definitely check it out if you haven't. If you have, and you didn't like it, I understand. Not everybody likes this movie, but I like it, and yeah, it's my number 47 favorite movie.
Not to mention, it spawned the greatest cartoon of all time.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, coming in at number 46 is Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future. This movie is on everybody's top whatever list. I mean, everybody loves this movie. I really like the plot and dialogue a lot, and I think Marty McFly is an extremely likable character. And Doc Brown is cool. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. I was about to say Christopher Lee. That'd been weird. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown is awesome. And I just love the dialogue and storyline in this movie, and so do a lot of other people. That's one of the reasons it's hailed so much as one of the best science fiction movies, is because of the dialogue, and it's just such a likable movie, and everything about it is really unique. I like Biff as your stereotypical bully, but I mean they play the stereotypes in such a fun way that it comes off as original. I love the time machine as a DeLorean, and my favorite part is where where Marty McFly goes to see Doc Brown in the 50s, and he checks up in on him, and he's like trying to do this, and puts his new invention on before they even introduce, because he doesn't want to know anything about him, and then he tells him he's from the future. And then he laughs at him and goes, "Who is the president?" "Ronald Reagan." And he goes, "The movie actor? Haha." "And who's his vice president?" "Jerry Lewis." It's done a lot better than my impersonation of it, but that's just a quick little taste of what the dialogue's like, and it's I love this movie a lot, and it's no wonder a lot of other people really, really love this. The sequels, they're alright. But the Back to the Future, is really, 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 really great. Yeah, what can I say about it that hasn't already been said? I mean, well, besides what I just said, but everyone else seems to say that. So, let's move on to number 45. Alright, number 45. Number 45 is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This movie is wow, it's really funny. It's really funny. It just starts off and it's this old cheesy black and white movie that nobody knows, and you're sitting there thinking, what is happening? And then all of a sudden it says, excuse us while the director changes reels. And then it starts playing the credits, and they have like these little subtitles at the bottom. And then it just goes, and they have this whole ongoing joke about the subtitles at the beginning. And then the movie finally starts, and the first shot you see is you hear these horses galloping. And you get closer, and it shows King Arthur getting close, and he's like coming, and he's like this, but he doesn't have a horse. And then behind him, you see a guy with this big backpack on. He has 2 coconuts, and he's like hitting his coconuts together to make it sound like a horse is coming. It's ridiculous, but it's so funny, and this whole movie is like that. It's just it's Monty Python. It's classic Monty Python. A lot of people don't like this because they think because they don't get the comedy and they don't think the comedy is funny. Well, it's British humor, and I think it's really funny, especially the old man from Scene 24 and the whole joke with the animation and the bunny rabbit and the holy hand grenade. And I like the cave, the message that they find with the cave. If you haven't seen this, then and you don't know what it's about, King Arthur finds the Knights of the Round Table, and then God tells them that they need to find the Holy Grail, and then so they're just trying to find the Holy Grail, and then they split up, and it shows all the different individual stories. It's really funny, and I just think it has so many memorable scenes, like the 4-second intermission while they're crossing the bridge at like the least suspenseful time. It's great. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, definitely see it. And if you don't like it, wow, sorry, wow. I just can't imagine anybody not liking this movie. When I first saw it, I thought it was okay. But then I had like a fever when I first saw this, so I was kind of easily agitated, and it was only semi-funny when I first saw this. But the more I watch it, the more I laugh my head off, and definitely check it out. Alright, moving on to number 44. Okay, coming in at number 44 is The Matrix. Starring Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. This is a great movie, and everybody loves The Matrix. You know, I actually hadn't seen this till this past year, which I know. But hey, I've seen it. You know, everyone said, "What? You haven't seen The Matrix? Just leave. Don't be in my presence." So I finally saw The Matrix, and I haven't seen the second or third one, but everyone says don't watch it. So, oh well, I'm probably gonna end up watching it, but I still have more movies to see before I watch those two. But the first Matrix movie is really great, and that lobby scene, personally, it's one of the best choreographed action scenes I've seen ever. It's really awesome and genuine. This movie also, I like the whole concept of the idea of the Matrix, and you know what you know isn't happening now. It happened a while back, and it's just a simulation, and robots and machines are using humans to fuel them. I love that idea and concept, and they makes a really cool plot with really great and awesome action sequences. And a lot of movies don't do that. They just said, let's get a movie that has great plot and great action, but let's get rid of the plot and let's have it just all mindless, stupid action like Transformers. But no, they took their time with the plot and not really much with the characters. I mean, there's not really too much character development, but all things considered, I like the plot. I like how ambitious it is. I love the action, and I love the villain. Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith is a great villain. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, Hugo Weaving is great as the bad guy, Agent Smith, and it's just a really, really cool movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it, but, well, I guess now that I've seen it, everyone else has seen it, so, yeah, Matrix, number 44. Okay, coming in at number 43 is Fiddler on the Roof. My favorite musical, maybe it's because it's the only musical I've seen. So far, I'm trying to catch up on my musicals. But Fiddler on the Roof is a really, really good, good musical. It's really entertaining, really funny, really sad too. It's really long too, but for me anyways, it passed by really quickly. Pardon me. I really like the songs in this. I think Hoddle looked exactly like Steven Spielberg, but it wasn't. The story is about this Jewish family that's trying to adapt to the modern day culture, while still trying to stick to their old traditions during the Russian Revolution. And I really thought, and they used like their Jewish traditions as these really funny jokes, and I like how they use. There's one time where I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It's the revolutionist who ends up falling in love with the second daughter, whatever. But he is teaching to the younger kids, and he goes, "Now, Laban tricked Joseph by having him work for 7 years, but he gave him his ugly daughter Leah, and if he wanted to have Rachel, he needed to wait for another 7 years if he wanted to wed Rachel. It says right here in the Bible in black and white that you must not trust your employers." And I thought that was really funny and really clever humor. I like it's a lot of written jokes, and I think that the writing is very well. It's based off of a play, but yeah, the writing is very well, and I love the cinematography. The cinematography is amazing, and I love the songs. Me and Spencer were singing Matchmaker earlier, and that's like the girl song. And we're like, "Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch." Of course, it sounds a lot prettier than what I just sang, but it's still a really, really, really amazing movie. And the ending's pretty sad too. I mean, it's not like, "Oh, shucks, I screwed up. Sorry. You can not. You can go do ... If you see it, you know it."
Don't worry, Lenin and his men just left us alone.
Yeah. The Russian Revolution figured, that Jewish settlement, well, we'll just spare them, and shucks. I mean, it's not like that. It's a really sad, very realistic ending, and there's a really great comedy and really great songs. Definitely see it. I haven't met too many people who've seen it, but it's really, really great musical. I love it a lot. All right, moving on to number 42. Alright, next is Batman Begins, starring Christian Bale, I was about to say Hugh Jackman. Okay, Christian Bale, Michael Caine. Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Katie Holmes, Cillian Murphy, Liam Neeson, Ken Watanabe, Morgan Freeman. Yeah, it has a huge cast, and the cherry on top is directed by Christopher Nolan. And I love Christopher Nolan. He's like my favorite director to come out in the past 10 years or so. I think he is really, really awesome. And this movie is just as it says, Batman Begins. And it came out June 17th, whatever. Oh yeah, Batman Begins is really great. I like the Batmobile, the Tumbler. I think it's cool. It's him starting out and how it became to be, and him fighting off crime. Fighting off crime. It's really, really cool. And I think it's a really fun, really well-made action movie, and like every Christopher Nolan movie, it does have psychological elements that, unlike like Inception and The Prestige, it doesn't have psychology boiling on the surface. It has psychological undertones. Like, Batman is Bruce Wayne's OCD. They never really say it, but he's obsessive compulsive, and the Riddler's a narcissist, and Penguin's a bureaucrat. But Batman has a lot of psychological undertones, and who better to do that than who better to direct a Batman movie than Christopher Nolan? And of course, The Dark Knight's brilliant as well. And The Dark Knight Rises, I'm really pumped for, even though I really don't like the name. Who cares? I love Christopher Nolan more than I hate the name, so whatever. Yeah, I love Batman Begins, and I think Christian Bale did a phenomenal job, and everyone gets on him for the Batman voice. Whatever. Have you seen Batman Begins? It doesn't matter if he has a stupid voice in The Dark Knight. I think he did phenomenal in this, and I think Morgan Freeman did a great job. Oh yeah, Gary Oldman's in here as a Lieutenant Gordon, and he does a great job as well. I like this movie a lot, and there are a lot of stupid people on Earth. I know it's kind of hard to realize that, but there's a lot of stupid people on Earth who didn't even know this movie was made. They just thought The Dark Knight would just get out of the blue. Here's your baby, The Dark Knight. And they didn't even know it was a sequel. I mean, well, they must be, but they didn't know this was the original of Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, and then The Dark Knight came, and then The Dark Knight Rises is going to be next year, and I'm stoked for that. Phenomenal start to a great, potentially perfect franchise. Potentially, there's always that chance this could be Nolan's Cars 2. But, yeah, definitely check this out. It's an amazing movie. Yeah, and check it out.
Also, better Christian Bale's Batman voice than Adam West's.
Yeah, very, very true. Alright, wrapping up this video is William Wyler's Ben-Hur. This is an epic movie. Okay, what is the definition of epic? A long narrative poem in elevated style recounting the deeds of a legendary or historical hero. So it doesn't mean awesome. Who would have guessed it? But whatever. Yeah, this is definitely an epic movie. Everything about this movie also is ginormous. I mean, the sets, huge. The actors were huge. The story is huge. The length of the movie is huge. I mean, this is a really awesome movie, too. I mean, I think, I personally feel it deserved its Oscar wins. I personally thought North by Northwest was a very, very overrated movie, and I haven't seen Some Like It Hot yet, but I love Ben-Hur a lot. I thought Charlton Heston did a great job as Judah Ben-Hur. I love the chariot race. That was an awesome scene. It really reminded me of the crop dusting scene from North by Northwest. Crop dusting scene. I mean, in those two scenes, there's like no music, but the second the scene ends, like this music just starts up and it makes me laugh. But yeah, the chariot racing scene is awesome. I absolutely love that scene. I also like the boat scene where he's what number is he? Number 42?
Huh?
Isn't he number 42 on the boat?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's number 42. But yeah, I love the boat scene. I like the action sequences. I just think, and it is slightly uneven. I will admit that, but I do think that it's a very satisfying movie. It definitely does need to be that long, and I think it's cool that it's that long, and I think, yeah, Ben-Hur's pretty awesome. Definitely check it out if you haven't. And what?
Goriest G-rated movie.
Oh yeah, it's also the bloodiest G-rated movie I've ever seen. Yeah, that's concluding this this portion of the list. Tune in tomorrow where I'll be posting number 40 to number 31. See you guys later. I'm Connor Nielsen of CS Reviews, and I'm out.